Dave Wasserman, I tell you what, last night I was just keeping my head down and trying to figure out what was going on. And at one point you said, I've seen enough. Warnock wins. And I thought, my God, this guy is calling the no-hitter in the bottom of the fourth inning. Like, what's he doing? But you certainly saw something earlier than most that showed the way this race was breaking. What did you see last night? What made the difference? And how does the Ossoff race end up?
Well, Joe, a lot of the focus throughout the runoff has been on those northern Atlanta suburbs where we talk about all those country club, suburbanites who initially some of them split their tickets between Biden and Perdue. That didn't happen so much last time. But what really gave away what was going on last night was the southern Atlanta suburbs, which we spend less time talking about. But it was places like Clayton County and Henry and Newton and Rockdale and Douglas counties where we saw really strong performances for Warnock relative to Biden. And that's where that's where the Republicans just couldn't keep up last time. Here's where I will disagree with John, though, is that Donald Trump has proven to be one of the best things going on for down ballot Republicans. If you consider what happened in 2016 when Republicans, maintained control of the House and Senate, in 2020 when he was on the ballot, Republicans picked up almost enough seats to take back control of the House. It's when he's not on the ballot that Republicans suffer. Clearly, he drives out a group of kind of politically alienated right-leaning voters who would not ordinarily show up for a regular Joe or Jane Republican in a midterm or off-year election. And that's what we saw last night, was that there was about 10 to 15% of the Trump electorate that simply did not feel compelled to vote without Trump on the ballot, or without the faith that their vote would actually lead to kind of a Trump-esque change. And meanwhile, on the Democratic side, African-American turnout was simply phenomenal.
Yeah, that's the argument you've heard, by the way, from Trump supporters, which is the reason it looks like both of the Republicans are going to lose. Trump wasn't at the top of the ballot. Of course, the flip side of that is that he was in there subverting the vote all the time, and in fact, putting in jeopardy the chances of these two senators. So let's talk about that coalition. You did call both races last night. We should say the NBC Decision Desk has not yet called that second race for Jon Ossoff. What did you see early on? What were those trends, and what kind of a coalition now can we call it in Georgia that we may see going forward? We've heard for now a generation the possibility of turning Georgia blue. Well, it's happened in both the presidential election and it looks like in both Senate elections as well.
Well, first off, it was some extraordinary performances for the Democrats in both the Black Belt of Georgia. The rural black turnout was really very impressive compared to the white turnout in those counties, and that was apparent pretty early on. But then it was those southern Atlanta suburbs I was talking about. Now, the danger long term here for Republicans is that these elections in Georgia are starting to look more like censuses than races between two sets of candidates. And it's looking like Republicans are beginning to become outnumbered in Georgia, much in the same way they're now badly outnumbered in Virginia or Colorado. Now, of course, Georgia's not anywhere near there yet, but it could be on its way. And demographically, the Biden coalition is extremely dependent on African Americans and suburban whites. And Georgia has both of those demographics in spades, whereas Trump made inroads with Hispanic voters in the 2020 election, but there just aren't very many Hispanic voters in Georgia to speak of.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.